An invisible tapestry, the divine masterpiece of your life. There's an intricate, invisible tapestry being woven around your life, a divine masterpiece so profound that its details often elude our mortal understanding. What if the struggles you've faced, the betrayals you've endured, and the losses that shattered your heart were not random but deliberate acts of grace? What if every closed door was not rejection, but protection? Take a moment and reflect. How often have you grieved over people walking away, never realizing their departure was a hidden blessing? Have you fought to hold on to relationships that silently drained your soul? Or questioned why certain individuals turned cold, only to later discover their intentions were far from pure? The truth is, we live in a world where harm masquerades as friendship and betrayal wears the mask of loyalty. Yet there exists a divine guardian, a force so subtle yet steadfast, shielding us in ways we seldom comprehend. This protection is vital, especially when your life carries a purpose that transcends the ordinary. Have you ever felt an inexplicable unease around someone, as if your spirit recoiled in their presence? Or experienced an unexpected rupture in a seemingly unbreakable relationship? These aren't coincidences. They're whispers of divine intervention, subtle warnings woven into the fabric of your existence, guiding you away from harm. But why does divine protection often come wrapped in pain? Why does it feel like God's hand is a blade cutting away what we cherish? It's because we cling to the familiar, even when it stifles us. God's protection isn't always gentle. It can be abrupt and painful, yet always purposeful. Like a master sculptor, God removes what's unnecessary to reveal the masterpiece within. The question is, can you trust the process? Can you surrender to the idea that every rejection, betrayal, and broken connection might be God's way of saving you from unseen harm? Here are 7 unmistakable signs that God is protecting you from harmful people. 1. They leave without explanation. Have you ever had someone leave your life suddenly without any clear reason? Their departure may sting, leaving you searching for answers. But often, it's not rejection, it's divine intervention. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us to trust in the Lord and not lean on our own understanding. God sees what we can't, hidden intentions, future betrayals, and the harm their presence might cause. Their departure may feel abrupt, but it creates space for the people and opportunities God intends for you. Like Lot's wife, who looked back and turned to salt, Genesis 19:26, clinging to what God removes can paralyze your progress. Instead, trust that their absence is God's mercy. 2. Their true colors are revealed. Have you ever been blindsided by someone's betrayal or sudden change in behavior? It's as if a mask they wore for so long finally slipped. While painful, this revelation is God pulling back the curtain to show you the truth. Jeremiah 17:9 tells us that the heart is deceitful, but God knows what's hidden. Like Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus despite appearing loyal, God allows people's true natures to surface to protect you. It's not a failure on your part for not noticing sooner. It's divine mercy guiding you to move forward. 3. You feel unexplainable unease around them. Have you ever felt discomfort in someone's presence, even without clear evidence of harm? This unease is often a divine nudge. God speaks through intuition, warning you of dangers your eyes can't see. 1 John 4:1 urges us to test the spirits, as not every connection is from God. Trust that the unease you feel is His way of steering you away from harm. Pray for clarity and courage to act on these warnings, knowing they are an invitation to lean into His guidance. 4. They resist your growth or success. True relationships celebrate your growth and encourage your success. But some people resist your progress, downplaying your achievements or planting seeds of doubt. This resistance is a spiritual red flag. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 highlights the value of supportive relationships. Those who resist your growth hinder God's plans for you. Jeremiah 29:11. Trust that God will provide the right people to uplift and support you. 5. The relationship feels forced or one-sided. Have you ever been in a relationship where you give endlessly but receive little in return? One-sided relationships are draining and not part of God's design. Matthew 11:28 reminds us that relationships should not be a perpetual source of weariness. Clinging to imbalanced connections delays the blessings God has for you. Trust Him to guide you toward relationships that align with His purpose for your life. 6. Conflicts and barriers. Keep arising, persistent. Conflict and barriers in a relationship often signal that it's not meant to be. While occasional disagreements are natural, constant turmoil is not aligned with God's peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Embrace His peace. Trust that His protection is leading you toward a brighter, more fulfilling future. Each sign of His guidance, whether through sudden departures, inner unease, or persistent conflicts, is an act of grace. When you lean into His wisdom and surrender to His plan, you'll find clarity, strength, and the assurance that His ways are higher than ours. If this message has touched your heart, share it with someone who needs encouragement. God's plans for you are rooted in hope and promise. Trust Him, stay close to Him, and know that He is always working for your good. Sometimes God allows subtle signs like unease to test your willingness to trust Him. As Psalm 25:9 says, He guides the humble in what is right and teaches them His way. Your unease is an invitation to lean into His wisdom and seek His guidance, rather than relying solely on what you see or feel. This unease may intensify when you're about to make a critical decision involving a person. You might feel anxious, restless, or even physically drained in their presence. These are not coincidences, they are warnings. God is showing you that this connection is not aligned with His purpose for your life. Trusting this signal can save you from unnecessary pain and keep you on the path He has designed for you. Don't dismiss these feelings out of fear of being wrong. It's better to distance yourself from someone who causes discomfort than to stay and endure harm. Pray for discernment and courage, trusting that God will confirm whether your unease is a warning or a momentary trial. Remember, He is your protector, guiding you away from unseen dangers and toward peace. 4. They resist your growth or success. True relationships, whether friendships or partnerships, should encourage growth, celebrate victories, and support your God-given purpose. But sometimes you encounter people who resist your progress. They might downplay your achievements, criticize your goals, or subtly plant seeds of doubt. This resistance is not harmless. It's a spiritual red flag. When someone consistently opposes your growth, it may be God's way of revealing that their presence is holding you back. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 reminds us of the value of supportive relationships. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Those who resist your growth are not helping you rise. They're keeping you stagnant. They may act out of jealousy, fear, or an inability to envision a future where you succeed beyond them. Whatever their reason, their resistance is not from God. Think about the people in your life. Do they celebrate your victories, no matter how small? Or do they meet your success with indifference or negativity? God desires relationships that reflect His love and support. Those who resist your growth are often tools the enemy uses to create self-doubt, discouragement, or complacency. Their words may linger in your mind, making you second-guess your decisions and slowing down God's work in your life. Over time, God exposes these individuals, allowing their patterns of resistance to become clear. You might notice how they belittle your dreams, question your decisions, or suggest your goals are too ambitious. In Jeremiah 29:11, God promises, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Those who resist your growth are not part of these plans. They hinder the blessings God wants to pour into your life. When you encounter resistance, don't allow it to derail your journey. Instead, take it as a signal to reevaluate the relationship. Pray for wisdom and ask God to reveal whether this person is meant to walk alongside you or if it's time to let them go. Trust that His plans for you are greater than any resistance you face and that He will provide the right people to support your growth and success. 5. The relationship feels forced or one-sided. Have you ever been in a relationship that feels like a constant uphill battle? No matter how much effort you put in, the other person doesn't seem to reciprocate. You give, but they take. You listen, but they dismiss. This dynamic leaves you drained, questioning your worth and wondering why things never seem to balance out. A one-sided or forced relationship is not just exhausting, it's a sign that God may be calling you to let it go. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus invites us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Relationships, while requiring effort, should not feel like a perpetual source of weariness. When a connection becomes so one-sided that it drains your emotional, mental, and spiritual energy, it's no longer a blessing, it's a burden. And God, in His infinite wisdom, does not want you bound by something that depletes you instead of replenishing you. We often cling to such relationships out of fear of being alone, fear of failure, or fear of losing someone we've invested so much in. But in doing so, we overlook an important truth. God sees what we cannot. He knows the hidden cost of staying in these unbalanced relationships. While we focus on holding on, He is preparing us for something or someone better.